Subway Carnage. She sacrificed everything. Kay, her voice full of disbelief, reaches out, saying, "Kay? Baby? Is that really you?" A woman, covered in blood and perched atop a pile of bodies, responds, her voice choked with emotion, "Mom, what? How are you here?" Overcome with relief, Kay exclaims, "You survived! Oh my God, you're alive!" The other woman, trembling, recounts, "The screaming started. I realized what was happening, so I ducked down. That woman fell on top of me, and I just stayed there, hiding." Finally, their embrace ends, and Kay whispers, her voice thick with emotion, just like in the hamper, "Oh, my baby, it really is you." Kay, her voice sharp with concern, demands, "Wait, what the hell are you doing on the train?" Her daughter, equally defensive, retorts, "I could ask you the same thing. You're cutting school again? What is going on with you?" The daughter explains that she is not cutting school, but rather going to therapy, and she is visibly upset by the accusation. Her voice softening, she says, I've been feeling really sad for a while, and I didn't know why." She continues, her voice barely above a whisper, "I was afraid to tell you, so I talked to Dad about it. He got me a therapist. And for your information, I have permission to miss class." The daughter reveals, her voice laced with frustration, "I had an appointment today, but you took my taxi pass, so I had to take the train. I didn't have any other choice." Kay replies in a soothing tone full of empathy, "Oh, Kay, I'm so sorry I made you feel like you couldn't come to me." Kay continues, her voice thick with emotion, "I've been a mess lately. I know that, but you don't have to protect me, baby. I'm supposed to be there for you." Her daughter interjects, voice wavering, "Wait, that's not why I didn't tell you." She continues with sincerity, "Mom, you look at me like I'm the most stupidly perfect thing on the planet, and it makes me feel perfect. I didn't tell you I wanted a therapist because I was afraid I'd ruin it, that you'd think something was wrong with me and stop looking at me like that." Kay reaches for her daughter, her voice gentle but firm. "Kay, listen to me. I don't look at you like that because I think you're perfect. I look at you like that because you are the most incredible person I have ever met. And that will always be true, whether you're seeing a therapist or full-on hallucinations, okay?" Her daughter replies softly, "I am so sorry you've been feeling sad, but it makes complete sense." The divorce, moving in with stupid Richard, which was a huge mistake. Kay says, "I tried to convince myself that none of this was affecting you, but that was shitty of me." Kay confesses, "I've been small and weak, letting everything with Richard and work get me down. And I'm so sorry. You deserve better than that, Kay." The daughter then looks down at the pile of bodies and up to Kay. "Small and weak, Mom?" she asks sarcastically. The daughter, now emboldened, exclaims with a smile, "Get up." The daughter then grabs Kay and takes a selfie, pointing at the camera and smiling as she says, "That may be what you see when you look at yourself, but that's what I see." The train car window frames Kay and her daughter, smiling at each other and the camera. Kay stands tall, her muscles defined beneath her blood-stained tank top, and her daughter stands next to her, smiling, her arm around Kay's shoulder. The window is covered with blood, but the city skyline can still be seen behind them. Kay, smiling, says to her daughter, "Vanessa the Great." Vanessa reads the sign as they exit, saying, "Far Rockaway." Her voice dropping, she says, "Fuck." Kai, her voice urgent, says, "That's the last stop before we go to the train yard. We have got to get off this thing before we get there, do you understand me?" Vanessa, confused, asks, "Wait, why?" Kay's face contorts as she explains, "Or we're dead, baby." Vanessa, panicked, says, "How are we supposed to get off the train while it's moving?" Kay reaches for the door, saying, "I don't know." As the train rushes through the dark tunnel, Kay says in desperation, "I don't know." Vanessa asks tentatively, "Can we just jump out and roll?" Kay thinks, biting her lip, then responds, "Maybe, but we should test it first." Kay, peering over the mountain of bodies, says, "We're gonna toss him on the count of 3. Ready?" Vanessa, aghast, asks, "Mom, this is a person. Isn't this kinda messed up?" Kay, her eyes blazing with determination, replies, "Yes, baby, yes, it is." Kay shouts, 1, 2, 3. A body is launched from the train door. Vanessa looks on in horror, pleading, "Shit, Mom, what do we do? I don't want to die." Kay tries to reassure her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Breathe, baby, it can work. We just need protection, like a raft of some sort." Vanessa exclaims, "Not doing that." Kay, shaking her head, adds, "Nope, no way." She then points to a door in the train car, exclaiming, "There!" The door to the conductor's booth. Kay and Vanessa struggle to open the door, Kay grunting, "Come on, baby, pull." An unknown man grunts on the other side of the door. "Rrrr." As they push the door open, Kay instructs, "Lay down as flat as you can. I'll get next to you and then we'll push ourselves back out of the..." As Kay says this, her face contorts with horror. As the door opens, we see a pale figure holding a machete in front of them. Vanessa is desperate as she yells, "Come on, Mom, get on!" Ooh, she's getting closer. "What are you doing?" Kay responds, determined. "There's no time, Kay. It'll take too long for us to push our way out if we're both on there." Vanessa cries out, "No, come on, please." Kay looks at Vanessa and asks softly, "Say it for me." The figure raises the machete as Vanessa begs, "Mom, don't. I need you." Kay insists softly, "Say it for me, baby. Just one more time." Vanessa, with tears streaming down her face, says softly, "You're the best mom in the world, and don't ever forget it." Kay smiles softly back, saying, "I won't." Vanessa is seen being hurled from the train, her hand outstretched as she screams in terror. The side of the train races past, blurring her figure as she struggles to gain purchase. Inside the train, Kay grips a pole, her muscles straining as she leans against the train's movement. Her eyes are wild, her face contorted in a scream of fury, "Yah!" Behind her, the blue figure raises the machete, a silent promise of violence amid the carnage. Vanessa's body scrapes along the ground as she is thrown off the train. The camera shows the scene inside the train, as Kay is attacked by the blue figure, screaming in terror. Vanessa, now outside the train, is desperately screaming, "Mom!" Finally, a shot of the train speeding away into the distance shows the blue figure silhouetted in the doorway. Vanessa is seen slowly rising to a sitting position on the ground in the tunnel, her eyes wide with panic. A close-up on her eyes shows her fear as the camera cuts to a long shot of the tunnel, where a figure with a machete is seen walking toward her. The final shot shows Vanessa getting to her feet, ready to run. A blood-splattered Kay stands on the tracks, her blue jeans torn, a machete held casually at her side as she looks directly down the tunnel, her face twisted in a sadistic grin. She says, "Hey, baby girl." Vanessa looks at Kay with a maniacal grin as she yells, "Mom!" Her expression changes to one of relief as she hugs Kay tightly, but then she asks, her brow furrowed, "Mom, did you kill that lady on the train?" Kay responds, her face strained, tears welling in her eyes as she walks away. "Yeah, and I may have killed a bunch of other people too. We can talk about it later." Vanessa, now wearing heels, reaches for Kay's hand, asking tentatively, "Are we going home now?" Kay grimaces, responding with a sigh, "Well, about that." A man walks through the door of an apartment, dropping his jacket and keys on the table. "Hey, Ness, I'm home." He looks at a TV, the news playing on the screen, and says, "Ugh, what a day. You're so lucky you don't have a real person job. It's brutal, let me tell ya." The man approaching the kitchen says, "Ah, I see you finally found time in that busy schedule of yours to unpack your moving pod." Kay stands in the kitchen, covered in blood and holding a machete. She responds simply, "Actually, I'm moving out." The man yells, "The hell happened to you?" Kay, smirking, picks up the man's jacket, soaked in blood, and says, "Oh, nothing. Just picked up your air wash." The man, his eyes widening, yells the actual "Fuck, Vanessa?" Kay starts to walk away, machete in hand. "Hey, where do you think you're going?" the man asks. On the TV, the news reporter says today's unprecedented kill train, the second in only 2 days, appears to have experienced some sort of disturbance. The TV continues with, for the first time in the history of the program, it looks as though a group of passengers fought back. The man, listening to the TV and watching Kay, says one or more unidentified persons, sources are telling us, surviving extermination. Kay is at her mother's apartment. Vanessa tells Kay as she is sitting on the couch, "It's all over the news, Mom." Kay, holding the remote control, replies, "Well, they have to find me first." The grandmother says, as she gestures at the moving pod, "I still don't understand. You just moved in with him. And now you're here with this?" Kay, holding popcorn, says, "Hey, Ma, come sit and watch a movie with us." Kay gives her grandmother a kiss and says to her grandmother's back, "I love you, Ma. Thank you for putting us up." Vanessa says, "Love you too, baby."